Alright, we're here today in Lower Delaware in an undisclosed location, and we'll be installing our new retractable simulator screen. This is a local install, so we trucked it down, but this is how your screen would come in a 6-inch PVC tube capped on the ends. So just simply remove the end, which may in fact be a different style than this, but since this was local, we capped it like this. Thought you put it in there. We got a problem. You little rascal. Steve already unloaded the screen in the garage.
How about that? Hi, I'm Steve from Real Field Golf Mats. Here you have a standard 2-car garage, ideal size, 19 feet wide, nice high 12-foot ceilings. And yes, I unloaded this last night, so here is your 16-foot retractable impact sim screen. Here's the tools needed to do this project. So, cordless drill bits, tape measure, pencil, nice structural meaty lag screws, an adjustable wrench, maybe some sockets. Here's what you get from Real Feel. You'll have 2 brackets, a grommet, 2 motor mount bolts, a remote. You also need a screwdriver, maybe a utility knife, golf ball, minimum 6-pack, chair to sit back and admire our work, golf clubs, and let us show you how we got started.
Okay, you'll receive 2 brackets, and Steve, can you place that down so we can determine our measurement? So you'll measure from the inside to inside of the bracket on both ends, and what we came up with was 193.5. So make a note of that on something handy, and then divide that in half as 96 3/4. Okay, so last night Steve mounted the 2 brackets to the exact distance that we need, and let me show you how that was determined. We've determined our critical measurements, so now what was the first steps here, Steve, in getting set up?
Well, what we do is we want a minimum of 12 inches behind the screen. So what I did was took a plumb bob, dropped it to the floor to find out where this edge was. We want 12 inches out from here. So I found out where the edge was on the floor, measured out 12 inches, and that put me 48 inches off of this wall.
Perfect.
Then what we did, we took the half the distance of this room. This room was about 18.9, 18.10 wide. So here's the half distance, and we're 48 off the wall. So we put a mark on the floor, and then we hung a plumb bob up to the ceiling and put a screw in to identify where the center of this is going to go. So that is 48 and half the distance from wall to wall.
Okay, so to recap, we've got the plumb bob set centered in the room, and that is 1 foot away from a back wall or whatever we want to bump into here, in this case the stair railing. So from that center point, we took the critical measurement that was half of the distance of each bracket and measured over to where the brackets for the retractable will be set. So in this case, the ceiling joists above run parallel to the screen, as you can see. So we reinforced in the attic, which we'll show you in a minute. If, however, your ceiling joists run perpendicular to the screen, we do have a few methods.
Here you have our bracket. We get a long 2-by, we bolt the brackets with our inside dimensions, take the bolted bracket up to the ceiling and screw it off to our ceiling joists that are running perpendicular.
In this case, again, we were able to reinforce from the attic side because we had access. So we'll head up there now and show you how we completed it. Going up. So in this case, we had an outlet directly above, which made it very convenient. The motor is mounted on the right of this unit. We can do a custom left mount if required.
And here we have our solid blocking that we added. Our ceiling joists were 22.5 inches, so we cut some 2x6, screwed them together, put screws in from the side, and as you can see, we are now ready for the retractable screen, which can weigh 85 pounds. So there you have it.
So if you do mount in this fashion from above, the support being above in the attic, you'll want to actually set your distance of the brackets so you know where to place your supports up in the attic. In this case, you can see that's where the blocking is right there, but we did determine that first with the critical measurements taken earlier. And now it's go time. This is where it does take two people ideally. We've done this with one person where you pop it in one side and keep the pressure, but it's definitely easier with two. So Steve's got the ladder set up and
Recommended 2 guys.
so we have a motor side of the bracket and the pin side of the bracket. In this case, again, the motor is on the right, so this would be our left-hand bracket, which holds the pin here. So that's the side that we'll want to set in first. This is what we're looking for on the left-hand side. We've got our pin here, we put our bushing on, and then when we mount it, we're going to slide it right into there, and then this side will be stable as long as we keep enough pressure going this way. Now, a little tip, you definitely want to leave the shrink wrap on until you're completely mounted so the screen's not flopping around getting in your way. Nuance here is you've got a lock nut right here. You've got to put that in and hold it while you get the bolt in. So the two bolts have a little receptacle for the lock nut, and then you line it up with the bolt. Once you get those puppies in, the bolt in, it's holding the weight, and then you can play around to get that nut in and then just check it for tightness. So once you're lined up. Steve's gonna plug us in, and I'm gonna cut loose the shrink wrap, and we're ready to roll or unroll. So we're up and ready to go. Shrink wrap's been cut loose. We're plugged in and hot on electric. All right, we're running. So now what you will do is you'll work with the remote control, follow the instructions to set your upper limit and your lower limit. We've set the lower limit now, so you'll see you want to set it just to touch the ground. You don't want it laying on the ground. So that way the weighted bar will keep your screen taut. Okay, now we've already set the upper limit here. Let's see if it works. You do not want it to roll up on itself. Boom. And it looks nice and even. Garages are sometimes funny. This direction, we're better off being parallel to the floor. Had we come toward the outside, they're usually pitched a little bit for drainage. All right, so we got a little fine tuning to do, but we're hitting balls. We've got a couple rems on the floor just to catch it.